listen to me while I sing for you this melody. Do a song, I say what I have to say. Sometimes it's the only thing that helps me through the day. So many things on my mind. I gotta have a song that helps me unwind. If it wasn't for music, I don't know what I'd do. I say hard time, help me through. I gotta have a song. Well, yeah, bring me along. Yeah. Well, I gotta have a song. Well, help me carry on.
Service, we get to hear the word. Please help me welcome Sister Rose.
I am grateful to God this morning for allowing me to be back here. Yes. And you look at your life and you really understand that God's got you here not because we could do enough to get here, because he loved us so much. So I am grateful this morning for everything that he has done. For all of you that are here, a special welcome to every visitor. We're glad that you came today. I'm coming to you from Isaiah, the 35th chapter. Father, we're grateful this morning for your blessings and for all that you've done for us. And what a privilege it is to come to your house, to lift you up, to worship you. Thank you for being so good and so kind. Thank you, God, because you understand when nobody does. We thank you, God, because you continue to reach out your hand every day, showing yourself mighty. I pray, God, that your divine will would be done, that you give us strength and courage, that you would cause your people to hear the word and apply it in their hearts. And we'll give you praise and honor in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. The 8th verse says, and an highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed will walk there. And the ransom of the Lord shall return and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads. They shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. I want to preach to you a little bit this morning. This message pretty much stayed with me, and it's this. Everywhere you look, people are taking exits away from God. They're getting out because I can't do this. I can't stand this. But you can. You just got to want to. If you really want to, you can do it. But if you don't want to, you can't do anything in this world unless you want to. So as I looked at it, I'm thinking the scripture says, except there come a mighty falling away, he will not come. So when you see so many people backsliding left and right every which way, they're backsliding, going back to the world. And I'm trying to understand, if you ever been in the world and we all have been out there, what are you going back for? There's nothing out there, nothing. So I'm thankful this morning that when I left and he brought me out, nothing made me want to go back. And it's been 54 years and I still don't want to go back. Because serving God is the best thing that ever happened to you. Yes. Too many people leaving. And you know what? There is absolutely no reason to leave God. I mean, nothing. To be honest, I never had it so good as when I'm walking with God. I never had it so good. How do you just go away and leave all the good things, the happy days, the excitement, the joy, the peace of mind? How do you walk away and just leave that? They said last night when they took Brenda up to the emergency room, it's so jam-packed. You know why it's jam-packed? Fear of COVID. I said if they call for sneeze, they're going to that emergency room. I'm so glad when you know God, you don't have to run. Yes. You can stay put. You don't have to run. I'm laying in my bed thinking how beautiful it is that no matter what comes and goes, I'm going to sleep, except last night. And so, but when you look at your life today, you got to ask yourself, are you getting ready to take an exit? There are signs that you're getting ready to take an exit. If you're on a highway, there is a sign that you are putting out there that tells the drivers you're getting ready to exit. Why? Because we flipped that little switch and we say, I'm getting ready to turn off here. And then they go a little bit away, but they start slowing down before they get to the exit. That's what's happened to a lot of Christians. They start slowing down, and the devil says, okay, I'm going to show you the next move to make. It's an exit down the road. All of us have been on the highway for some reason or another. We've been out there. Okay, so somewhere, someplace, as you go along that highway, you're going to start seeing exit signs. And they are constantly, you go just a short distance, there's another one. That's exactly what the devil is doing to God's people. You can't stay on the road because you keep taking the exit he's pointing you to. You know, he said this is a highway, and it shall be called the way of holiness. And the unclean shall not pass over it. I think when they look down at themselves and see how dirty they are, I better get off of here. But no, it's time to get washed up. It's time to get cleaned up, not run off. I look at this world, and I am convinced it is the biggest mess I have ever seen in my life. And it continues. It gets worse and worse. And people, you know what? By the time you think that COVID is done, God's going to hit again. They all getting ready in their swimsuits and going on vacation and flying on the plane, and everybody's happy and, you know, it's finally over. It ain't over till God says it's over. That's for sure. The exits, some of them say food and gas at the next exit. Yeah. Of course, you're going to pull off for the food. No doubt. You're going to do that. So now you're on the highway and say, I'm hungry. But we ain't hungry for God. We're hungry for everything natural in this world, but not for God. When we hunger after him, things go better. Your life is full. You got victory no matter what. Sometimes we would be traveling, since Charles was in the military, we'd be traveling, and you think, where's the next exit at? And maybe it's the restroom, maybe it's something else or whatever, but you're looking for something you're looking for. And sometimes you have to go a long ways before it finally dawns, for you finally see an exit that says gas and food. You think you're just driving, especially, I hate to drive at night like that, and we just out there driving and pushing and trying to get to a certain place. Just forget it. Listen to this. We need to understand there is a path that God has for man. You would like to believe that you're setting everything in order. God, if God let us set everything in order, we'd be a mess. We're already a mess because we try to get away from God rather than to him. But this road, it's a good road. I have no desire to get off of it, not for any reason. If it gets a little bumpy, so what? We bump along. If it gets a little rough, you just rough right along. If the storm comes while you're on the highway, just keep going. Don't get off, honey, because it's a storm. Or I can see down the road there's going to be a bad storm. Hey, brace yourself and go toward the storm and win because you can. Yes. So, Paul reminds me of a lot of you that you are on your road to what you've been doing and want to continue to do. So Paul, he was on his way, Saul rather at the time, he was on his way to Damascus, but Damascus was a road in which he traveled that he might persecute the people of God. You got to look at your life and say, what road am I on that's leading me to do what I want to do? Because people don't want to do it God's way. That little man, the little guy that came here not long ago, he said, Sister Rose, my problem is everything's got to be done my way. I said, it'll never work with God. God's not going to conform to you. You're going to do what he wants you to do. You don't call the shots, he calls them. You may not like them, but he calls them. I think of on this road to Damascus as his way to continue to do what he wants to do. And everybody, for sure, they want to do it their way. It seems to be more fun if I choose it. But the end is death. The end is a bad ending to it. I got to go somewhere where I can end right. I don't want to end wrong. So you can make up in your mind, I'm going to do it this way or that way. Let me tell you, and God's not asking you if you like what he said, you just going to do it. That's right. You know, almost everything in this world, we got a choice for it, and God even left us with a choice. But at the end of the day, man always makes the bad choice. For sure, he always makes the bad choice. So if he would stop and say, you know, I've tried it my way, why don't I understand that God's got a better way and I'm going to follow his way? But he met God on that road. Some of you are going to meet him one day. You're going to meet him. Whether you meet him in this world or whether you meet him in the world after this one, you're going to meet him. You got to answer why you done what you did. You got to answer why you chose to go that way. You got to answer why you said no to God when you should have said yes to him. You got to understand that God is wanting you to make him first in your life. He don't want to come after your husband, your children, your family, and friends. No, he said, put me out front. If you put him out front, you get in a good place. Then you're going to a good place. So many people's lives are messed up, and they messed it up. We like to blame mama, daddy, grandpa, and everybody else for why we didn't do as good as we could have done because of them. At the end of the day, you're the blame. You're the blame. And you know what? They'll say, I did this, but I didn't want to do it. Yes, you did. Man wants to do what he wants to do. That's why he do it. Every time. Listen. So, when I take an exit, I don't have to depart from where I'm at. I got to get off of here and get over there. You go down the highway, you can see on both sides. And over here, you may see everything that looks very interesting. And boy, that looks like it could be fun. Over here, you're looking at something else over here. Well, it don't look as much fun as I'd like for it to be. But by the same token, you know what? I think I'll try it out. We try out more stuff that we don't know nothing about. We make it a point to go over here, explore, if you will. Try to find a place that's something different. I'm looking for something new. I just want something new in my life. You know what? God never gets old. God put us on a journey in this world, and we're going to be happy if we follow it. If we don't follow it, we ain't going to be happy. So many people depressed, so many people down, so many people don't know exactly how they're going to make it. From day to day, they're going through all kinds of changes. They got marriage problems. They can't get along in the home with the husband and the wife and the children. Everybody's at odds with each other. But if you'll put God at the center of it, everything will work out. So I tell people, you got to understand where I'm at and where I'm going. And when I look around me and see all these things, then I'm wondering, okay, am I on the right road? You look around, things don't look clear. It looks kind of foggy like. You say, is this the right road? Is this highway such and such a thing? Yeah, it's supposed to be. Why does it look different? You get on a road sometime and you think that you made the right exit, but except when you get off of it, that feeling inside is, nothing around here looks familiar. That's because you're on the wrong road. But if you go with him, for sure, you're going to be on the right road, and that's the road that leads you to life everlasting. There's two roads. There's two roads. One's going down, one's going up. One is wide, and one is narrow. You know why people want to get off the narrow road? Because it keeps you in check. I don't want to have so many rules and strictness on me. That's how you make it with God. Heaven ain't going to give you a road this big, because a man going to stop and dance, smoke him a cigarette, jump up and down, holler at his friend across the way. No, put him in a narrow path. Put him in a narrow path. So you can't get out. When God brought Israel out of Egypt, the scripture says he took them away that they would have never chosen. And they get come through the Red Sea. Well, there ain't no door nowhere else in the Red Sea. The only way they could get through the Red Sea is that God made a way in the Red Sea. But then when they got over on the other side, they started complaining. You don't know why God brought us down this way, and we ain't got no good food like we had in Egypt. Any person, Egypt is symbolic of the world. That's what it's symbolic of. And let me tell you, if any person say they saved and they had a better time being unsaved, you didn't get on the right road. You somewhere else, because this road, it don't give you a bunch of problems and issues. It don't do it. So when I looked at how God took them, now the journey God took them on, they could have made it in 4 days. You know how long it took them to get there? 40 years. You say, my God, 40 years? There's a shortcut right there. That's how you're going to go to hell. There's a shortcut right there. The devil says, come on, you ain't got to go through a long, drawn-out thing. Check out over here. It's a good place. You're gonna go 400 miles? No. I can get there in 3 days, but the devil will get you there in 3 days. But by the time you get there, he's finished you. So we got to go through a process. Man does not like process. He always trying to get out. The hardest thing with people in the church is that they want everything to happen right now and go down here and we can get it over with. And somebody said, you shouldn't go down that way because that road is not good. I see cars seem to be falling in a hole. Well, I know. Maybe he don't know how to drive, but I do. All mixed up. So you got to stop and tell yourself, okay, what is the Bible telling me to do? Too many people will tell you they do not know their Bible. They don't read it. They don't study it. They may read a scripture, but they're not going to study it. You got to study this book to know what it says. So when some preacher gets in the pulpit and tell you something is crazy, you know it's crazy because I read it in the book. It's in here. You know what? God had to fix Israel where they didn't even have no way to go back to where they came from. He said he brought them a way that they couldn't go back. Some of y'all need to get in a place in your life where you can't go back. That everything back, every time you think about it, it's all barred up. You can't go back. You're better off not to go back than to have a door. And you find a Christian just shaking the whole time. You say, anyway, out of this thing, I thought I wanted to be saved, but girl, there's a lot of tough stuff. No, it ain't. This ain't tough. You just don't want to do it. It ain't never seemed tough to me. Every rule in this book, I've never had a problem with it. I don't care what it says. If it says don't do this, don't do that, go here, go there, I did that and I wanted to do it. The worst, the so-called Christians having a hard time because they don't like the rules. I don't like the rules. They lowered our traffic thing here in the United States for a while. I forget for what reason. And everybody slowed down. Now, there were some people that didn't slow down. They know the sign says it's now 35 miles an hour, and they used to doing 70. Keep right on doing 70. The thing is saying 35 miles an hour. Read the sign. If you read this book, it'll tell you how to run this race. It'll tell you don't run it too fast. It will tell you to slow down. Listen to what somebody's telling you. You're running too fast. And if you run too fast, you're going to run into something. You'll run off the road because you can't remember what you need to do. If you take your time in this race, rest assured, you'll have a good race. People that try to run in the Olympics or anything, if they haven't trained, they don't do well. God has to train his people for you to do well. When you're running this race to get to heaven, you want to do well. You don't want to be all bogged down and can't see your way and depressed. That's not his plan. His plan, I want to show you how to get through this, and no matter what happens or what comes in your life, it won't stop you. Too many people get stopped along the way. They don't want to go. I don't want to go. I preached a message not long about hitchhikers, and the devil is the best one. And the thing here's what you got to look at. Okay, if I don't understand it, that's why you got to understand the word when you read it. I got to understand it. So I will know for sure where I'm going next. All of us is going somewhere next. All of us. And I got one next, heaven. That exit's the prettiest exit you ever seen. You look back and think, say, my God from heaven. This is unbelievable. And when you start to exit, ain't nothing but beauty and more beauty and more beauty. And the further you go, the more beautiful it gets. Oh. Nothing's worse to me than when we used to be on the highway and you go through some Texas was one place they had a lot of flat land. So give me a hill or something. It's just basic, just here. Far as you can look, it's just flat land. I used to tell y'all, let's don't go through Texas. It's a boring place. There'll never be a boring place when it comes to God. Never. If you hear a person say, you know what, I'm bored with being a Christian, you're on the wrong road. You got on the wrong road and the devil talked you out of it and told you, well, you want to do it like this. And people don't understand what you're going through. His grace is sufficient. Whatever we go through, his grace is sufficient. But you find people, watch the people that complain. Always complaining about this race. Always complain. You know, living Christian life is hard. If they tell you that, you know they on the wrong place. He said, my yoke is easy. My burden is light. Take my yoke upon you. Learn of me. His burden is light. You see people like this, can't hardly stand up. Hey, you're on the wrong road. This road is smooth, narrow. It won't give you room to get out of control. It holds you in check. But if you ain't held in check, you'll be lost. He pulls you in to try to bring you to a place where you can, okay, look at this and follow this. But we used to go up through the mountain. We was traveling cross country, going to the next duty station. And we get on this little narrow road going around that mountain. I would never drive on it. Charles drove on it. He was very careful. That road is so narrow, and you're going around a mountain, and the road about like this big, just big enough for your car wheels. That is an uncomfortable feeling. I'm thinking, as soon as we can get around this curve, because it's a nerve-wracking feeling, it's uncomfortable. Danger is there. So if I know it's dangerous, because if that wheel goes off of that side of that road, boy, you got a long drop. So you're trying to get through it real careful. And I find myself in the car going, and once we got around it, it became a 2-lane highway again, or 3-lane. Oh, boy, you just lay back and rest and say, boy, this feels so good. Step on it, baby. Let's go. So we ain't got to creep along no more. I got to get going. I don't want to drag it out. But understand, you as a new Christian have time to build and to explore and to get to know God and understanding what's going on in your life and where you need to be with him. And I don't know why God took me this way, but he had a purpose. Job went through so much, and Job said, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, his children is dead, all his riches is gone, and everything is gone, and he's looking around like, what is this? Let me tell you, if God takes you on a journey, you will find yourself saying, what is this? Wonder why we on this road. Wouldn't it make sense? No, it makes sense right where you at. But Job said, wife turned on him. He said, he knows the way that I take. I don't understand this. It ain't clear to me. Because you can't see with these natural eyes all the time what God is doing. But you know if you follow him, you're going to end up right. You're going to end up right. That's the thing I learned over the years of being saved is that if God's got a way, it sure ain't yours. It is not your way. Because you're thinking, I don't understand it. You're not going to understand a lot of things in this life. When you walk day by day from one street to another, from one place to another, you're going to wonder, what am I doing here? Because God brought me here. He was teaching me something through the process. Let me look at it. Take a look. This is to build you. This is to make you strong. This is to put you in a good place so that you don't fall apart. You cannot stay strong unless you go through the fire. You got to go through the fire. Yes, it's difficult at times. And Sometimes you just want like to step off. I said to the Lord the other day, I said, God, you know what I'd like for you to do for me? Is he going to do it? Maybe. Is he going to do it? Maybe not. But hey, I can ask. I've been in a warfare ever since I got saved. I've never known a time in my life as a new convert all the way up to now. I have never known ever to be without trials. Ever. It's always been from the day I got saved, it started. And it continues to this day. But I'm determined that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult, no matter how long the journey, I got to make this journey. I got to make it. Please. Don't ever slow down. People that slow down, the devil will cut your head off. When the prophet, the disobedient prophet, went out and the Lord told him what not to do, and he said, go into this place, don't eat, don't drink here, and don't even go back the way you came. When it's all said and done, he done just the opposite. But understand, he didn't come to a good end. A lion destroyed him on the wayside. Sometimes the wayside you want to take, a lion's waiting on you. The devil's coming with something bigger than you ever seen. He's going to try to push you off of a cliff. He's going to try to make you feel like you can't do this. This is just too hard. Can't nobody be a Christian doing this? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Sometime on the road, they have what they call road junctions. And that's where two or more roads come together. Now, you're going to have to make a decision. One of those roads you shouldn't take. Which road are you going to take? Most likely, the wrong one. Because they intersect for a reason, to make you make a decision. So what are you going to do with this? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep going. I ain't going to look to the left nor the right. Sometimes you get out here on the highway going home and somebody have an accident and they ain't even had the accident on your side. The car slowed up to a snail's pace and there you drag along and everybody's nosy trying to see what happened. Let me tell you, there are going to be a lot of things along the road, a lot of things. And they're put there to bring you down. To bring you down and make you give up. Make you think this is too much for anybody. God never meant for it to be this way. Quit trying to dictate how God thinks. You can do it. But when you get to a crossroads like that, there's always a decision to be made. Do I stay on this road, or do I turn left, or do I turn right? You decide that. But I know one thing, I gotta make a decision that's right. And if I look up and say, Lord, I'm at this crossroads, which one do I take? He said, in all thy ways acknowledge me, and I will direct your path. I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you which way to go. I'll tell you whether you should go right or whether you should go left. Just ask me. We don't want to ask God. Man wants to run his own life, and he makes a big mess of it. The world is in trouble today because man decided how he was going to do it. And he did it. He lived to regret it. Lives to regret it. There was a time that Adam and Eve regretted that they ever listened to that serpent, but it was too late. Sometimes your regrets come too late. I can't fix it. I want to do something with it. I know I should. Sometimes the same way with people in marriages. Marriage was dead from day one. They still trying to make it work. You cannot make a dead thing work. If it ain't got the spunk and everything it needs to make it work, all you can do, you can't change it. Some woman told me that I was counseling with some years ago. She said, Sister Rose, I want my marriage. I said, well, do he want it? He said he don't want it. Then you can't make it work. It takes two people. Two people coming together saying we want to make this work, and they make it work. But is she just going on? I said, well, so what issues have you had in your marriage? Well, he likes to play around and with women and stuff, and he wants to do this. Everything is against a good marriage. Everything. You can't have a good marriage playing around. Not unless you're married to a stone dodo. Honey, you got to understand, I don't want that for my life. No, you have to have some guards. You have to have some places to say, this is not for me. It's a shame that you talk to so many people who can't make their marriage work, and simply because both of them don't want it to do it. It's either my way or no way. Well, you're not going to have a marriage. It's got to be both people haven't gotten involved in this, and both people looking at the situation, and both people coming together saying, how are we going to resolve it? If you don't have that, you're not going to have a marriage. I was married for 34 years, and I know what it means to build a marriage. But if you marry a fool, rest assured, you're not going to have a marriage, because a fool is the worst thing you can do is to get married to a fool. And they everywhere. And wait, lady, you say you act just like a fool. You didn't see that? Take a look. Before you say I do, let me take a look and see, is this where I want to go? Start listening to what they're saying while you're dating each other. You say, well, I know he said that, but I don't think he meant it. He meant it. Listen to these things. Pay attention. Oftentimes I've said to people, so did your husband have this problem before you got married? Yes, ma'am, but I always thought I'd change it. You don't change man. Man is one of the most stubborn bulldogs on the planet. They don't want to do what God said. How you figure you're going to do it? You cannot. See? So when I come to a ramp, you got to understand, I don't want to go over that ramp. It's a short section of road that allows you to enter or exit and a controlled access highway. So this is where I have some control over it. But the ramp is too high, you don't have control. So we go out there and say, boy, look at that, boy. It's not going to work for you. It's too high, but you don't think so. You think you can do it. I saw this lady one time, her child was drowning, and she jumped in the swimming pool to save her child's life. But she had one problem. She couldn't swim. Let me tell you, I'm the mother of 7 children. I love my kids. But I don't swim. The deepest my water is the bathtub. Now, check this out. My son or daughter's out there in the water. They going under. I see them going under. And I look out there and say, baby, hold on, we're going to find somebody. He said, why didn't you just get in? I don't swim. That's why I didn't get in. And so you must don't love your kids. You go on jumping in the river if you can't swim. You'll be dead and they will too. So you haven't resolved an issue. You've complicated it. Now you out there in the water trying to get somewhere. I told him the other day, Anisha was in the bathroom with me. I said, Anisha, I think I'll go swim. That's as far as it's going right there. I bought me a, what do you call it? What was that big thing? The what? The hot tub. And it had like 5.5 feet of water. And I bought it because they told me if you work out in it, it should help you lose weight, That was a lie. And so, but every day I look at that thing and I think, I don't want to get in that pool. Because when I get there and that water hits me right here, I say, I'm knowing. It cuts my breath off. You know why? I'm uncomfortable with that water. And my family made me uncomfortable when I was a little child, because what they used to do when they washed our hair back in the day, there was no salon chair. You held your head over the sink. And what they would do, they would get pots of water and pour it over my head. And when they did that, I couldn't breathe because the water would run all in my face. And I said, I can't breathe. Put your head down, gal. I can't breathe. So from that time on, they did that to me the whole time I was a kid. I was always, put your head down. And then one time they did it to me and I couldn't get my breath. And I come up out that sink, I slung water everywhere. That whole area was wet up. I said, I can't breathe. To this day, since I don't have to worry about water having to live in it, I just don't worry about it because, hey, I don't swim no way. And no use to me going around and telling me, well, I'm going to think I'll try to find me. No, not happening. If you want to, well and good. I think that's good, but I don't want to. So if you find yourself in a situation that you know you can't do this, why are you doing it? Why do you keep pushing for it? Why don't you stand back and say, I'm not the one? I'm not the one. I was talking to one of our members the other day at the church here who we were talking about some things that they do in the church and different people help to do it and what have you. And some people can't do certain things. The scripture says that God gives to every man according to his several ability. So we all have different abilities, and some of them is not as good as others. The worst thing you can do is treat that like, I got to tell you again, didn't you get it? I think, no, I didn't. I didn't get it. Well, you go back again and tell them again, they say, I still don't get it. Like, man, you stupid. No, his ability limits him. He can only comprehend so much. And so if you can't understand it, then you can't make it work. So walking with God, what God did, he made everything, no matter what our ability is, he made it so we can function in all of them. That's the God who did that. So I think since God made us and he knows all about us, he knows where our limits are. And we do have limits. We do have limits. So you got to stop a moment and say, you know what? I'm not good at that. I'd like to give it a try. But that's usually not the place that I function best. Can I learn how to function there? Yeah. My kids come up to me and they talk about cutting and pasting. So, Mama, all you got, we can teach you how to cut and paste. I said, I don't want to know. I said, at this time in my life, who cares? I'll let y'all do the cut and paste. I'm not going to do it. Can I learn it? Yes. I don't want to. It's not because I say, well, I can't learn. Oh, I can. But I'm not doing that. I got my limits on that computer. There are things I do. I like shopping on the computer. When my daughter, before Warner died, I came in the den one day and Warner was at the computer. I said, now wait a minute. If Warner's at that computer typing on that thing like that, I thought, I need to get off of it. Warner kept that thing up to par. Boy, she could find whatever she wanted to find. She knew how to do it. And I thought, I could too. Some things I don't want to do. That's the way it is with Christians. Some things you could do it, but I don't want to do it. Well, God will teach you. He'll show you how. I don't want to know. I don't want to learn it. Because I find the older I get, the less things I want to do learning new things. For what? I'm on my way out. I'm not interested in learning new things. I'm going to a new heaven and a new earth. And everything there, I already know about it. Don't let the devil talk you out of it. See, people think that they're thinking this thing, but the devil is in their ear telling them, you ought to try such a thing. Don't you do so. And you think you're thinking, but you're not thinking. The devil is playing games with you. You can tell by people's face when they're out there like, so what you thinking? I'm just thinking. Get off of it. Because he's going to lead you down. He's going to make you think this is a good thing, tell you all the reasons why you should do it, and just make it look so nice and beautiful, except it's a trap door leading to hell. Trap door flowers. It looks good, but it's not good. So I need to learn the word. I need to know what I need to do. That's my problem. I keep jumping off the highway. You know how long it'll take you to get from here to Denver if every so many miles you pull off side of the road to every exit? You said, call back home, said, you in Denver? No, we still on the road. Why are you still on the road? Well, we stopped at every exit. No. You can't let the devil entice you and try to get you to do that. That's his job. Talk to you going down the road. You ever seen it? Back in our day, our elders used to talk to themselves all the time. And I used to wonder, who y'all talking to? And my uncle was an assistant pastor. He would sit up on the platform, and he would say, and I look over and I think, what's the problem? I mean, he's talking to himself up a storm and shaking his head. You don't see a lot of that now, but back in our day, it was common to see older people talking to themselves. Just going on with the conversation and looking at G shaking his head. And I'm trying to understand, okay. That's what the devil will do to you the same way. And he's talking to you and you're talking back. You say, no, I'm just thinking. No, you're not. He's talking to your mind. He is a spirit. He can get in here and tell you a whole bunch of stuff and you not even know it's the devil because most people don't know who he is. But you got to learn who he is. He's destructive. He's a killer. He will kill you. Don't buy into his garbage. He got lots of it. Listen to good counsel. Listen to things that come to try to instruct you which way to go. Don't go the wrong way. Listen to what it says here. The best method to exit a freeway is to begin slowing down only after the exit. Don't slow down here when you see the exit, but after you get into it, slow down. And the devil got you looking like, I don't have to slow down, just get on in here, get it done. Run into something and knock your brains out. Because I should have just took my time. You either got deceleration in your cars or acceleration. So deceleration is a reduction in your speed and the rate in which you're going. This is what hurts a lot of new converts. They start deceleration too soon. It's like, okay, it's not time to slow down yet. Keep going, build it up, keep going, keep going. It's gonna come a time you can slow down, but not now. Timing, what I found out in life, timing is everything. Everything that happens in your life got something to do with the timing in your life. And God's got a time for all of us. He has a time. So what you think you can do today will not work today, but it will work tomorrow. You got to follow him. See, so what am I going to do? Sometimes we accelerating and gunning the motor, and the devil got you thinking you all that. Slow down. See, on this journey, you got both of them. You got deceleration, you got acceleration. You got both of them. But they're all for different times. So if you're slowing down at the time you should be gassing up, you're going to mess up something. Just hold off. Know what time is it in your life. Should you do this now or should you wait till later? That's why some people don't make it through the race, because they want to run it fast. The race ain't given to the swift, neither to the strong, but to the one that goes through to the end. It's not about how fast you ran. It's how good you ran the race. So did I run it right? Stay in the place where it's straight. Straight is the gate, narrow is the way which leadeth to life, and few there be that find it. Straight means it's strict. There's so many strict rules. That's why I used to say to my grandmother, they're so strict on everything. Can't do this, you can't do that. Well, I'm going to go out here and do my thing. Like a dumb fool. Too straight. Don't like that. She's so strict about everything. But those are the rules concerning your behavior and how you obey and observe to do exactly what the word says for you to do. Don't sit it on the side. Do what it says. If you do, you'll be happy. I've never been a time that I said, oh, God, I don't think I can make this race anymore. It's just so much stuff going on, people lying on you, people betraying you, they're doing this. I don't think, forget that stuff. It's not, and I say this to Mott all the time when we're talking about this. So I said, the word says, consider Jesus. Lest you become weary and faint in your mind. When you're going through something that seems difficult, consider him. He went through way more than you went through. So some people get off the highway because it's just too straight. I went over to Sister Rose Church. You can't do nothing, child. And people sitting in there and shouting, and when they go home, that's it. They have nothing else to do. That's got to be some of the most boringest people on the planet. You can't speak for me. I'm not bored. And back in our day, they called the church, Holiness Church, they call, child, that's some sanctified people. You don't want to go over there, honey. They tell me they see things in people waiting outside the door. You don't want to go in there. Yeah. No. They see things. Holiness had something good in those days. Now it's all screwed up. It's all screwed up. Narrow is someone who is limited in some way. Man wants to take the limits off. Let me remove the limits and let me just let it hang all out. No. The limits is what brings you to the kingdom. That's what makes the road narrow. You're limited to how much you can do on it. You're limited to whether you too wide. The narrow road says, get on here, fast and pray, seek God, stay right here. But can you do anything over there? We do a whole lot of things. We're having a good time. Ask us. We have church all the time. Yes. They're looking for a way out, so they go over to Brother Jimmy Jew. You heard about Jimmy Jew's church? Child, over there, you can do anything you want. And you be going to heaven. No, you won't. It's never a place for us to do anything we want and get to heaven. It's not going to happen. Yet y'all don't go over to Sister Rose Church. Child, they tell me, in Germany, they said, she got them people fasting till they looked like they died. That was a lie. Nobody looked like they were dying. Nobody. And then one girl backslid and said, honey, I had to leave that church. I fasted so that when I did eat, I ate everything I saw, and I just started gaining weight. Well, quit eating it. Quit eating everything you seen then. Mad at me, blaming me for, I didn't tell people to fast. The word says for you to fast. Listen, you know why people don't like to fast? They don't like limits. I need to be able to go to the refrigerator and pop out some food. How many times you been up and looking in the cabinet? I used to do that, looking up in the cabinet. What you looking for? I don't know, just something. Something to eat. I ain't even hungry. Just something. And come out looking just as starry-eyed and crazy and full of sugar. I studied that online, and it says that people that eat a lot of sugar is the same effects that a drug addict has, that sugar has on you. Once I saw that, I take very little sugar. Did I like sugar at the time? Yeah, I did. But when I found out it could give you the same withdrawals as a drug addict, I don't need you. I don't need that, see? So we got to reduce ourselves so that he can become big in us. So I just want the Lord to use me. He can't, you're too big. Humble yourself. Get down where you need to be. Get at the feet of Jesus, then he'll use you. But as long as you're standing up here, you're not going to get anything from God. You got to humble yourself. John the Baptist said, I must decrease, that he might increase. That's what I got to do. So what have you got to do to have from God what you want? you got to decrease. You're not important anymore. You got to do what he wants you to do. So in doing that, hey, I can be what I need to be. But you got to be willing to dedicate your life to God. You got to be willing to be set apart. You got to be sanctified from everything else that's out there. You got to be different. I always thought it was neat to be different because I thought, who wants to be and look like everybody else? I don't want to look like you. I want to look like me. You see these people trying to look like somebody and turning into animals? Crazy. Had a woman out there one time, she was going to turn herself into a Barbie. If she didn't look like a fool, it was unbelievable. She had, I forgot how many operations she had trying to look like Barbara. No. What you want to do is look like Jesus. Set your mind on him. Yes. But you cannot make it on this highway unless you're willing to obey the rules. And so tell yourself, okay, what's the rules? Not, well, that too? They're not going. I've seen this my whole time of being saved. Somebody said, you got to do that too? You can't do this? Oh, I said, I'll see you. You ain't getting ready to get saved. Listen, this is what the Lord said. Stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we'll not walk therein. We ain't walking like that. So they go to church, they hear the word. I'm not doing that. Why not? If he said it. I can see if some person said it, but he said it. Stand in the way. So they call me old-fashioned. And I don't mind being called old-fashioned. At least I'm living right. Listen. He says, stand in the way and look at it. How much better was the world 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Look at it. And then look at what you got right now, which is nothing. A bunch of killings and murders and everything horrible and bad. I've never heard about so many kids killing their parents. Killing everything. Just full of wrath, angry. Don't live your life like that. A person that's full of wrath might do anything. Don't touch them a little bit because they'll go off on you. Listen. He says, stand in the old way. Take a look. This is the way it used to be. Don't you want to go there? No, that's old-fashioned. Yeah, you know, we living in the church. No, we living in whatever it is. Nobody does that stuff anymore. That's old stuff. Do the old stuff, it works. It really works. I used to frown on my grandmother so bad, I think. You are so old-fashioned. What are you still doing here? That stuff, you can't do this and can't do that. No, you need to pray. Call on God. I don't want to call on God. For what? Stupid. I learned. But Jeremiah said, Lord, we need you to show us the way. Which way do we go? For it's not in man to know his own way. We got to have help. We can't make it without it. Think about it. So he says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. When you get saved, become a Christian, you're different from everybody. That's why your friends will say to you, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Why are you acting funny? I'm not acting funny. Now you're not doing what they're doing, you funny. I'm not funny. No, I found Jesus and I'm living for him. That's what I want. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all the nations that are upon the earth. We don't want to be different. What is everybody? No other churches do that. Well, they should. They should. If the word says it, they should. But he said, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. Call you strange. That you should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Whereas the world look at you strange that you don't run with them to the same excess of riot and speaking evil of you. They don't party no more. Child went over there. She sitting there reading the Bible. I thought, let me get out of here. Come over here reading no Bible. And then I heard somebody say, hey, hey! Did you hear that? What is that? Come on in for a little while. Take a seat. Try it out. You come in here, you start praising God and worshiping God, and then but go to the club and do that. Nobody looks at you funny. You look like a fool in the club, and nobody thinks you are one. All over the place, doing crazy stuff. But you come to church and holler and praise God and raise your hand and wave your hands to him. And then they got their friend. You see what I see? Something wrong with these people. Where's Dave at? I get such a kick out of David. David's a white boy sitting right there with the black rim glasses on. He was Catholic, raised Catholic, so he came into our service. Somebody invited him to the service, and he came in. He said he looked around, he thought, these people done lost their mind. People running and jumping and hollering. He says, these folks is crazy. So he came back again. How is that? You think we're crazy, but you come back. Yeah. They crazy. Are you going back? Yeah, I'm going to go back. They crazy, but I'm going back. But you know what it is? It's the Spirit of God pulling on the heart of a person. You might not understand it. Let me tell you something, it works. Jeremiah said, I said one time I was going to be quiet. I wasn't going to talk about it no more. But it was like fire shut up in my bones. When I knew one thing, I was preaching and prophesying and everything again. Couldn't hold it in. Oh, no. And some of y'all go to the club. I see some of that stuff. Occasionally they come up with some on TV. And they're just looking mentally retarded. Going from side to side, looking crazy. And some of them dances, I thought, wow. Bent over, looking crazy, shaking everything. I think, thank God, we have normal shouts. Yes. Peter said they've forsaken the right way and gone after Baal, after the devil. Go follow him. Leave God, leave the right way, go the wrong way. And it ain't long before you come back crying about it. I wish I hadn't went. I wish I'd have stayed home. I'll tell you, it's some bad stuff out there. I said, I think I was born to serve, and you was too. I was born to serve the Lord. Got to understand one thing, that if I am going to have a good time in my lifetime, I've got to get involved with some things that produce that. Because if I don't get what produces, I keep getting stuff that don't work. See, you remember the story about the man when he was on the road to Jericho? Now, understand, he was going to Jericho, but he was leaving from Jerusalem. Check it out. The fact that he was leaving Jerusalem, which is known as the house of God. That city is a holy city. He leaves from there and heads to Jericho, and some people found him on the road and beat him to a pulp. Beat him up so bad and left him for dead. That's why you're where you're at. You done left Jerusalem. You're going to Jericho, Julie Waju, Koyamosi, all these different things. You know, it ain't what they say it is. We could have told you that before you got there. I told my kids, I said, everything in this world is hyped up. Don't buy into it. It's a bunch of hype. That this is the greatest thing in the world. The whole sex craze covers the entire earth. Make you think if you don't have that, you got to have that. Stupid. I can't tell you. I never understood it because it's good for the moment. For a moment. Anybody in here ever been involved in sex? Honey, it's over in a moment. Say, well, I don't know what you're talking about because mine was longer than that. At the end of the day, baby, the climax is the same. You can say what you want to say. You just think you got all that going on, and Joker don't know what he's doing, and sometimes you don't know. Get a grip. And they got the world thinking you got to have sex. I'll go to hell for it. You a fool. Don't go to hell for sex or nothing else. It ain't worth it, honey. It ain't worth it. Well, I listened to this morning. I'm going home and call my friend when I leave. Man. Say, I went over to there. Have you heard of Sister Rose? Yeah. You and that woman preach? Yeah. Child, you don't want to go over there, honey. She talked about some of everything this morning. Things that don't even go in the pulpit. No. Everything I preach up here goes up here. Take a look at your life this morning and say, I need to turn things around. You on the highway, it's not going, and this highway goes to heaven. If you want to go, you stay on it. If you don't, you make a U-turn and get off. But I'm here to tell you this morning, wherever you at now, if it's not about God, make a U-turn. Come to him. He'll change your life. You'll be excited. You say, boy, I never knew it was this good. The average person do not know serving God is this much excitement. They don't even know it. You want to be able to triumph, to be happy in the midst of everything. Everybody knows about Samson in the Bible, and I'm closing on this note. And he was all about the woman. Cost him his life. Ended up grinding in a mill. Eyes put out. He had to have Delilah. His parents said, what about somebody of your own people, son? I saw this woman, get her for me. Get her for me. The one you wanted somebody to get them for you. You're sitting back in the corner crying and taking all type of pills to try to make you have a kind of a high, and so I don't be down here. And you go see what he's excited about. You say, is that what you have a nervous breakdown over? Oh, something's wrong with you. Come to Jesus just now. Just now. You sitting there this morning and said, Sister Rose, I know what you're saying is true, and you know what? I really would like to change my life, but I don't know if I can do it. You can't do it. God can do it. He puts you in here. He empowers you. He gives you the strength to do it. He'll do it. So if you're sitting there this morning, you say, well, I sure would like to change because what she said, some things are really true. All of them are true, but you only pick the ones that you want. Yeah, all of it's true. Give God a chance. Let him change your life. Quit going from one exit to another one. You're going to run out after a while. You get on an exit that's a dead-end street, you can't get off of it. That's what hell is. It's a dead-end street. You can't get off. While our musicians and singers are singing this morning, if you want prayer, why don't you come forward? Anything you put on hold for God and don't come to God, boy, you're going to have some hard times. But you can be out. You can get out. Okay, if you want prayer, won't you come while I wait a little while?
I'm glad that man, he didn't let teardrops fall. You know what? I know he'd find joy in every tear that I shed. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man didn't make heartaches. 'Cause I know he'd give me more. He'd give me more than I could bear. Oh, see, and I'm glad that man, he didn't create me. Oh, Lord, for one day. Man, he surely forsake me. Oh,